said, I mean, there's no one like me. Trying deep down. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Paris Hart, and you're tuning into another episode of the Love of It podcast. Today, we got an artist that's holding it down for not only North Bronx, but it's holding it down for all of New York City. Today, we got Gif The Great.
Yo, what up? What up?
So first things first, how'd you get the name Gif The Great?
Man, so Gif The Great, that was like an evolution of like a couple of names. I don't know. I wish it was really like a real good backstory behind it. But my first rap name was Prolific. I got into radio for a bit and I was going by the name Prolific the Gift. And then when I started focusing back on music again, I just took the gift part and sort of like adapted it and just Gif The Great became a thing.
Dang. So what was the name in Par City? Like, what was it like switching up from, okay, I'm doing this as a group to now I'm going to myself as Gif and I'm getting it in like that?
I mean, that too was like, it wasn't a hard transition because I feel like in the group I was doing a lot of the writing anyway. In terms of like the songwriting, like the hook writing and the concepts and stuff like that. Like I was doing a lot of it just on my own. And then like a lot of the recording equipment was at the crib. So it was like, all right, I guess I just got to go it alone. It's cool now. Like, been songwriting, I've been recording, I've been engineering. Cool doing my own. The only thing I would say that's hard is like performing, because now you got to you don't have like the energy of like the group on stage anymore. Like we used to have like a nice group dynamic where it was like one person had one side of the stage, the other person had the other side of the stage, and you sort of like, you could command it with three people. It's a lot easier. Now it's just you. Now you got to sort of know how to command a room all by yourself and hit all the parts and like the songs and stuff like that. And like no backup, no ad libs, no whatever. You just gotta be in shape for it.
Dang. So out of doing all the parts, which part is like, okay, this is what I'm locking in. This is the easiest part for me, and I don't gotta think about it. Is it writing? Is it engineering? Is it going out there and picking your song list? What is it that's like, okay, this is easiest?
I don't know which one is easier, to be honest with you. Writing can be a little bit of a process. I mean, I would say engineering, but even engineering too. Like, you got to kind of have a feel for like every song and sort of just like develop like the sound and like the feel of it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy. To me, all of it is fun. All of it is like an exploration, you know what I mean? So I can't really say which one is easiest, but I like all of it. I like the whole process.
Bet that. So what's your creative process like? Is it, okay, I'm gonna go put this pen to paper? Am I gonna think of a concept? Is it just more free flowing?
For me, it always starts with like the beat. And a lot of times, sometimes, it'll happen like I'm just in the mood, like after I go out or after I'm going through something or whatever like that. And I just want to like find the beat first, and I'll let like the beat speak to me a bit. And I sort of have like my own like flow pattern and everything. So I kind of adapt it to the beat that I like, but I'm also very open to just like, I just want to hear the beat. I just want to hear the music first. The music will like speak to me and then I'll like speak to it, if that makes any sense,
Yeah. Dang. So literally from day one, coming up from North Bronx, when did you know, okay, like music's gonna be for me? This is my career path. This is what I'm gonna do.
It's tough, man. I can't really pinpoint when that transition happened because, you always start off and it's sort of like something to do, especially from here. Like a lot of people rap. A lot of people, well, that was the thing too. A lot of people were rapping, right, and freestyling and doing battles, especially when I was coming up like early on. Music was sort of like secondary. It was more so like, who had the bars, who just jump in the cypher and just like go in and just crush somebody, I really enjoy the music. I have family members that were doing music. Like I had like cousins that were already in the game trying to like songwrite and stuff like that. So I guess just seeing them early on was like, I could do music. It's something to do on the side. In terms of like making it a career, I think it was probably after our first few shows that I was like, I really do enjoy this. I really do like being on stage. And then just you started doing shows out of state. I was like, I kind of like the lifestyle too, a little bit, being like a bit of a road warrior and stuff like that. Like that's kind of cool. So I was like, I could see myself doing this. But it took a while because, like I said, everything starts off as like something to do, almost like a hobby. But yeah, I think just being on the road, doing my first few shows, that probably was a transition to like, I really enjoy doing this.
Dang. So something that you touched up on that I want all the listeners to listen out to is that not only did you go in there and you wrote everything, but you made sure that the engineering was good. You made sure that you had your hands in every part of the creative process. And I think a lot of artists think that it's easy to be an artist, or that you could go in the game and just be a lyricist, or you could go in the game and just be a producer or just be an engineer. And I think as an artist, when you go in there and you have engineered, you have beat built before, you have done all these different things, it makes it easier to communicate with the people around you and like to deliver the sound that you're going for. So like just praise to that, praise to doing what you're doing, and like taking the time to make sure that you're doing it well. So big ups to you for that.
Yeah, man, you got to get the process done, man.
Facts. And speaking of the process, you just had the Drink Body Armor campaign with Ja Morant with all the wins. So what was that like?
That came as a surprise, honestly. Like, shout out to my manager, Josh. He pretty much just like plugged me in with the opportunity of like, hey, we're looking for, a song campaign. Well, actually, it started off me wanting to do another campaign. I submitted some music to them. They heard it. They was like, you know what? This is all right. But yo, you submitted this song. This might work at this body armor thing that we have going on, this body armor campaign. Let's just hold on to this song real quick and we'll see if we could just like shuffle it over here and see if it could kind of work. And then it ended up working. And I was surprised because I was like, yo, at first I submitted music and I was like, oh man, they don't like what I got. Whatever, it happens, But they kind of held on to it. And then like a few weeks later, they were like, oh, this actually fits perfect for this other campaign that we have going on. So, and then Ja Morant was involved. I'm looking at the ad. Ja Morant's just an amazing player anyway. So it was like, wow, look at this. Look at how this went. And that was a song that like I had it in the tuck and I was like, I'm not sure when to put this out, And then I never ended up really putting it out for like about a year or two.
Dang.
The pandemic happened and it was like, I don't know what to do with this now. And it was like, love it. We love it. It's perfect for this. I was like, wow, I didn't even realize I had like a gem on my hand, but cool.
That's crazy. What was it like when you saw? Was it like showing all your friends and family like, yo, like, look at this, look at this? Did you get the juice off of it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like my friends are never like impressed at this point. You know what I mean? Like my friends are like, oh, that's dope, what's cool? And I'm like, yo, man. But I guess they've come to expect, like, like Gif said he's gonna do that, so at some point it's gonna come through. So when it came through, they were like, all right, great, congratulations, whatever. But I mean, I wish it was like a big like parade in the street or anything like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. It just felt like another day.
Hey, that speaks volumes. That means that you're just doing great things on the daily.
Yeah, man.
Dang. So when you first start getting into music and even now, are there any artists that when you go in the booth, you're like, okay, this artist inspired me or this sound inspired me? Or what really inspires you to get into that mood of writing and recording?
I mean, there's so many influences, I'm be honest with you. It depends on like the mood I'm in. Like I feel like shout out to like the lyricists like the Lupe Fiascos, the Slaughterhouses, your Nas's, I mean your J's. I mean, I don't want to sound like a typical New Yorker where I say Nas and Jay and like a big or whatever like that, but it kind of what it is. It's kind of what it is. Kind of in my DNA, Like those guys, like I came up on like Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z and Nas. But to bring it more to the new, there are a few new lyricists that really impressed me. Sean Smith, Anon. There's a few local artists out here in the Bronx too that sort of like push my pen and stuff like that and like makes me want to like really get into the writing of it. But then there's like producers that I've like really looked up to all my life, like Pharrell and Kanye and trying to think who else. Really those two. Really Pharrell, like a lot. But yeah, they get the creative juices going. Like anytime you throw any of those artists on that I mentioned, like it gets my creative juices going.
Facts.
And it's like, yeah.
All those artists you said they're more than artists. They're like poets. When they say something, it's like every bar has a reason behind it, and it's so perfectly just written. And it reminds me of your music a lot. So I like to see that those are the people that inspire you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more, but I tried to like pinpoint it. I try to narrow it down for this interview. But yeah.
Dang. So we spoke about the easiest part. What's the hardest part of being an artist?
Hardest part of being an artist, to be honest with you, for me, I would probably say like promoting and just like constantly being on social media and like trying to keep up with that, you know? Because like sometimes I look at social media and I'm like, I don't like all the antics. I don't like all like the, like you say one thing, somebody might take it the wrong way, and all of a sudden now it's like you're being misquoted out there. So it's like, it's weird. But I mean, if I could control like the way social media works and like just like responses and stuff like that, like I would do it all day, you know? But sometimes I'm a little hesitant to push the button, like, do I want to post that? People might take it the wrong way. People might, that might be the toughest part, because you got to stay active on social media in this climate. Like there's no way around it. There's no sitting back and just like, oh, I'm just going to put music out and just let the world just take it for what it is. Like, no, you got to promote. You got to do something. You got to shoot visuals. You got to have this, you got to have that. So yeah, just that might be for me the hardest part.
Even with social media being so dominant, we still have to push as artists. Like, okay, we have to go out there and do the legwork. We have to be seen. We have to be outside. So how important would you say it is to kind of balance that and finding the fine line?
Finding the fine line. I mean, I would say, I guess, try to make your social media match as much of your like life as possible. So when people see you in the street and see you in real life, they're not like surprised, like, oh, well, you were this way on social media. How come you're not, you know what I mean? How come you're just whatever in person? You know what I mean? Like, but it's difficult because like, I think like for me, I want to just be a regular guy. Like, I don't want to be like this big hyped up, like jewelry wearing all day type of person, whatever like that. Like you see me in the club, I mean, I'm dressed nice still, but it's not like I'm like $50,000, $100,000 worth of chains on and all this other stuff that people try to pull off on social media. So, I mean, when people see me on social media, I don't necessarily purport that neither. So it's like when you see me in person, you're not getting like this false image of, oh, you were this way here, but now you're, yeah. So, I mean, it's difficult. And like you said, being outside and being in the streets and promoting is still important, you know? So like showing up at clubs, showing up to DJs, keeping relationships and things like that, that's still important. When you do shows, you know, being interactive, being hands-on with the fans and, you know, really putting on a good performance is important. So it's not just like, you know, the dances you could do on TikTok and social media and all this other stuff. You also got to be able to perform the same way, I guess, at shows in person and, you know, making appearances and interviews like this, you know, kind of be personable. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, I can't even explain like which one I would say is easier for me. I guess the in-person stuff is a little bit easier. The social media, like people think social media isn't work. Social media is definitely work. You know?
Facts.
It's doing the work in real life feels a little more natural than doing it on social media.
Speaking of that grinding, what's the best advice that you've gotten since you got into the industry?
You know, the first piece of advice I ever got was something really generic by that. Like something really generic, like, yo, man, it's a grind, yo, it's a grind. And at the time I didn't realize that I was doing radio, and I literally was interviewing my first like sort of semi-big rapper at the time, this guy Red Cafe, right? So him and his whole team were there at the radio station, and I'm just like a lowly, like, you know, I'm fetching water for people. I'm like, you know, doing like internship basically. And I'm like, yeah, so like, you know, what's the game like? I'm trying to break into music and da-da-da-da. And he was like, yo, it's just a grind. Like he gave me like a real generic answer. And all these years later, it's really just the grind. It's really about like the amount of legwork that you put in, the amount of like, you know, amount of faces you put yourself in front of, the platforms you put yourself in front of, writing every day, or trying to stay consistent with the writing, you know, when real life is happening still at the same time. Trying to build and maintain relationships. Like, it's all really a grind. Like, it's really a lot of footwork. And sometimes you got to take yourself out of what you're going through, or like, you know, certain situations where it's like, damn, I really don't feel like doing it today, man. I'm not in the mood. You got to like, no, pick yourself up, put yourself in the mood, go outside. Somebody invited you to a show. There's going to be an opportunity to like network, or like, you know, just do something. So like, just make an effort to like put in the effort to actually go and not just be lazy. Like, that's really a part of it. It really is a grind.
Facts. I like how you said that even back then, like a little bit of time you were fetching water, a little bit of time you were doing what you had to do. And I think with social media, a lot of people think, you know, you just make 2 or 3 songs and boom, you're big like that. Or you just show up in the radio station and you meet 2 people and like you're on. And it's a hard grind behind the whole process. It's far and few that make 1 or 2 songs and get big. There's so many artists grinding. And what I try to tell artists is that you have to grind. Like you're saying, you have to make the connections. You have to go out there and record your music the best you can. You have to go out there and day in and day out, like you said, grind. And I think a lot of artists out there who are listening should know there's going to be times when you meet someone that, you know, you don't get to say what you want to say, or you miss an opportunity. But as long as you're out there grinding, is going to come in one shape or form.
I think the thing that's easier today, though, with social media is that like now you can kind of build your own brand, right? And it kind of takes away some of the work, but don't be fooled and think that you could just like do it all from like you said, like come up with 1 or 2 songs or something like that, and you think you're on. Like, you still got to put in the legwork. But I think now the tools are a lot easier to like do stuff on your own. So you can kind of build an audience at least, you know what I mean? Build your audience at least, and at least have that support you. But you still have to build relationships within the industry, and like, you know, just put yourself out there to like work with other creatives. So there's that part of it too.
Facts. So
yeah.
when you're not working on music, what does Gif The Great do in his free time?
Oh man, Gif The Great is trying to get back into streaming a lot of TV. Like, as we're speaking, I'm looking at my TV right now. I have HBO Max up, and I'm trying to like catch up on everything on HBO Max. My favorite show right now is Winning Time. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to watch the last night's episode again. But like, just watching a lot of TV and just staying current on like current events. What else? I gotta get back into working out, staying active. That'd be another thing too, right? When you're doing this music thing, right? You gotta stay in shape. You just gotta. It could be easy to just like sit in the studio all day or sit at home just making music and stuff like that. And then you like become a studio rat. And then you're just like, I don't even feel good like when I'm outside. Like, no, go for a walk. Go for a walk, drink some water, get some sun, you know, try to make an effort to keep your body in shape and keep active and stuff like that. It'll help, especially when you're performing. So yeah, just working out, streaming stuff, watching TV, like I said, staying current on current events. And then I do a lot of like just YouTube watching, but like YouTube watching to like watch stuff that can help me, I guess, with the music, right? So I'm like looking at people like, oh, here's a tip on how to audio engineer this. And if I want to get this sound, how did I get it? Or if I want to shoot like this video, how do I like I watch a lot of like nerdy stuff on YouTube too.
Hey, it helps sharpen the craft.
Yeah.
Dang. So with all that grinding, what do you got planned for 2022? The rest of it.
Oh man, 2022, I do want to drop a project. I might be a little bit I don't know what the word is. I might be a little bit wishful thinking to see if I could drop something by next month. But hopefully by the summer I'll have like definitely at least an EP's worth of music, like a solid EP's worth of music. Dang, yo, I'm such a typical rapper. I want to have like the banger for the summer, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have the hot joint in the summer that's going to be like taking over. But I'm working on that, you know what I'm saying? Working on music. Yeah, I mean, working on music, working on the project, you know, and songwriting in between has become like a thing now too. So like shout outs to like all the artists that I've been working with, and the people, like I said, once you start building relationships, now people start reaching out like, yo, you know, I have another artist that I'm working with. Would you like to come in and sort of help out? Would you like to come in and, you know, you have any songs for this R&B singers? Like, it's new opportunities now to write for people that I never thought I would write for before. Like, it's not just rap anymore, you know? So it's cool that way too, when you build your relationships. But yeah, basically working on my project. Hopefully I'll have something solid by midsummer, right? Like I said, I want that banger still for like the summer. It's gonna be like, it's gonna take over. What else? And then, like I said, songwriting for people. I'm like, you know, collaborating, helping out with other people's projects, and yeah, just songwriting in general.
That. So all the listeners out there, this summer when you're cruising, you hear Gif on the radio and he got that banger this summer. Don't act like he didn't tell you that it was gonna happen. Speaking of your music, you just released Get Rich last month. What was it like writing that?
You know, it was weird. For some reason, that song felt like real hard to make. No, not that it was hard to make. It was kind of like, I was like, damn, I don't know if it sounds right. I want to get it right. I gotta like go back in and record these vocals and re-record, and like I was really particular about that song for some reason, like more particular than I've ever been about a song. And I liked it just from day one. Like I felt the beat, you know, like everything fell into place the way it should have. But then for some reason I was like, I don't want to just rush it out there. I had that song. I was probably sitting on that song longer than I should have. Like not longer than I should have, but longer than I had anticipated it. Like I had it done and I was like, no, but I want to make it sound better. I'm gonna go back and re-record the whole thing. No, I want to make it sound better. I'm gonna change this part right here. No, I want to make it sound better. I'm like, why am I making all these changes? Why am I so like self-conscious about it? But that's a really fun song. I like it. And I think it came out dope at the end of the day, but just, I don't know, me wanting to be a perfectionist, I guess, for whatever reason, sort of like didn't pull the trigger on it. And I could have pulled the trigger on it months ago.
Dang, but hey, that comes with the job of being a musician. You got to make sure that release is perfect, because once that song's released, can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
If there's any listener out there listening, what advice would you give them?
To listeners?
Yeah, to any listeners trying to pursue music.
Okay. Any listener trying to pursue music, I guess just keep an open mind about music, especially the business. It's not hard, but there's so many different avenues to it, where it's like, if one thing seems to be like a little bit impossible, or a little like one lane seems to be a little too crowded, right? There's always like a dozen other lanes in this music that you can get into. Like I said, I started off, everybody was just rapping and battle rapping and stuff like that. I was like, nah, I want to get into songwriting. I wanted to get a little bit more into engineering. As we start moving forward as a group, it's like I'm getting into the promotions aspect of it now. Like I'm doing the graphics for it. Oh, social media content. I'm shooting little videos and like behind the scenes stuff, and I'm getting good with like the camera and everything like that. All these little tools can help you out within the music business, and not necessarily just, okay, I'm writing, I'm rapping, I just want to be a writer and a rapper. Like I was watching, like a few months ago, I can't remember, a few months ago now, like a year ago. Damn, that's crazy that the time. But I don't know if you ever saw like T-Pain's sort of like Twitch feed, right? And like he had like a viral moment where like he was getting mad that like every artist sounded the same. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like for those guys, I'm pretty sure that like if you're one of those artists that sounds like somebody who's already out, and it's like we already have enough of those guys, get good at like shooting videos, get good at making beats, get good at songwriting for other people or something like that. Like there's a dozen other lanes for you to get into in case that you're just trying to become a rapper by yourself. If that doesn't work out, that doesn't seem like lucrative at the moment, there's all these other lanes that you could take and you can make money, you know what I mean? And still, you know, work on your music and do what you want to do, pursue your dreams still, but don't just get pigeonholed into just one aspect of the game. There's tons of aspects of the game to exploit, tons of aspects, tons of ways to make money, tons of ways to, you know, explore get your creative juices flowing without just necessarily pigeonholing yourself into, okay, I want to be this type of rapper, I want to rap about this. If this doesn't work, I'm done with music. You don't got to be done with music.
Facts. That's couldn't have said it better. That
Mm-hmm.
is, I think most artists, like you said, do kind of pigeonhole themselves, or at least the ones that I've spoken with, and the ones trying to get into the game, and trying to let them know that you could make money and save yourself money by doing more and more different things. And I think that's something that everyone has to know, because if someone's shooting your music videos, you have to think each music video is going to be a couple bands. Each music video is going to be, someone's going to tax you. You're going to have to find someone else. Someone might be busy. If you get a camera and shoot, you might hire your friend and then you do all the editing yourself. That could save you so much time, and that could save you so much money. And so many artists just take the opportunity, take that.
Eventually, I'll tell you about my group. Eventually, that ended up happening with us. Like our first like big budget video cost like, I don't even want to say how much it cost. It cost too much, right? And then eventually, like I said, like I started working on, like I wanted to do like more promo for the group. So I ended up buying myself a camera. And just that little investment right there, and sort of getting a little bit good with like, you know, editing and stuff like that, that eventually led to us just shooting our own videos, saving a ton of money doing it. You know what I mean? So some of it I learned along the way, but if I could just drop that gem on people, it's like, yeah, like there's, like I said, like so many different avenues of music that you could get into that could actually help you earn money while you're trying to pursue this, and keep your creative juices flowing. Like I said, just buying a camera made a huge difference.
So thank you for your time. And where can our listeners go find you at on social media?
Well, all my handles are at Gif The Great, GIF The Great. You can find my music on Apple, well, all platforms basically. Just search Gif The Great. I'm gonna show up. My last project, Everything Old, is out. My last two singles, All the Wins and Get Rich, are out. I'm actually working on some merch for Get Rich. I've actually had that in the tuck for a while too. It was like some merch. So hopefully try to get that released and produced and made up soon and all that. Yeah, just look out for me, man. I'm active on Instagram especially. Twitter I'm trying to get back into. Those are like the main two. TikTok maybe. TikTok maybe. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing any dances. I might do some freestyles up there and whatnot, but and a few like little like skits and things like that. But I don't know if my feet work well enough to get with the dances. But yeah, everything is Gif The Great. Everything is Gif The Great. GIF The Great.
That. And so everyone listening out there, you heard his song in the Body Armor campaign. You know, you've seen him on social media, and you don't want to be the person riding the bandwagon once you hear that summer banger. So everyone that's listening, go tune in to Gif The Great right now. Follow him on socials, subscribe to that YouTube, check him out everywhere, and just stay locked in because you don't want to be riding the bandwagon.
Word. But I mean, you're welcome to, you know. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hurt, you know. Yeah, this is Gif The Great, BX's Zone. You're tuned in right now for the Love of It podcast, man. I had a great time here. This is the realest conversation you're gonna get on the web, man. So Gif The Great, the Love of It podcast. Keep it locked.